Hello, my name is Jennifer Aguirre, and I'll be talking about my internship experience. The school that I completed my 40 hours in is called Montessori Explore. It's located in Chula Vista. The classroom that I was placed in was the age group between 3 to 5. Some of my goals that I had as I was going into this internship were just to learn the basics of what Montessori was. I have read about it. I have studied it during some of my class that I've taken, but I have never really experienced. So that was one of my main goals, is to just really in depth learn about what Montessori is. Um, Other little goals that I had throughout this experience was to conduct how learn how to conduct lesson plans, just learn the material, and at the end of this, I just really wanted to make sure that I knew how to create and teach a Montessori lesson plan. Some of the materials that I was focusing on were practical life, as you see on the far right area, and then the math area that you see on your left. These are the two main ones that I really focus on. I did touch bases on the language area, but not as much as I would have liked. I was mainly put to focus on the math area just because that's where a lot of the students struggled with and needed more one-on-one guidance. And since I was there as a helping hand, that was the easiest one to teach me, because it doesn't really require a lot of lesson to run, like a big lesson to run with the kid. And again, it's more like a simple math, just adding, subtracting. So they asked me if I could just focus on that as well as the practical life. It doesn't require much prior knowledge of Montessori and how to conduct Montessori lesson plans. So those are the two main reasons why they just put me to help on those areas in the classroom. So these are some of the lessons I was able to conduct during my internship. Off to the right, we see language and chalkboard. This child is learning how to write his name. At this point, this child has mastered um, writing each letter of the alphabet. So now we move on to words. He requested to learn how to write his name. So what I did here was grab the brown box that you see to his right, and I grabbed each letter of his name and put it inside. If you see, there's a blue square in front of him, so that has an L written on it. His name is Eli. So once he shows me that he's mastered how to correctly write all those letters, I will then grab all the cards and spell out Eli in front of him, and then have him just copy his name into the chalkboard. And then he'll do that as much times as he would like. And then when he's ready, he's able to move on to a different word, and or if he has mastered that, we could go ahead and proceed with his last name. For the second lesson, language story sequence, I had read a story, and we were talking about community helpers and the kind of building they work in. And in this project, I just connected to the community worker with the building and had them match each community helper with the correct building job that they have. Um, this child has mastered the first three that I gave. So I give in increments of three. So he mastered the first three ones. Once he's able to master that, I went ahead and added more community helpers and challenged him in that way. For math, they have a sand tray. As you could see, this child is learning how to write the number one. So you could see me off to her left, sitting, and I presented each number one by one and asked her to trace it in the sand. For the last one is practical life. She's learning how to use motor skills as well as hand-eye coordination, and at the same time she is learning how to sweep. So again, it's a practical life area, so they learn things that could be put out in the real world. The lesson here is we grab the bucket, they just dump it out on the floor, and they have a little sweeper and a broom, and they just sweep it up, and they have to get it into the sweeper and then dump it into the bucket. And she did this about, I want to say, 30 minutes, and then she was able to move on. So for these three images is other lessons that I ran. The difference between these ones than from the last one is I was given the opportunity to be the one who chose the material and create a full lesson plan on this. They have a topic each week, and I was trying to connect those two with um, the materials that I chose. So this was a very interesting weeks, and it was hard to put together just because I wanted to create that connection between the topic and the materials, but at the same time, I needed to make sure that it was A, Montessori, and B, it was um, in different areas of the classroom. So for the first picture, you see that it's a math lesson plan, and then the last two, just because it's easier to create, and the time that I had was not enough, but I created two life practical life lesson plans. The first one is the child is putting the numbers from 0 to 50. She has not mastered that one yet, but if once they master that 0 to 50 board, then they'll go to the 100 board. The second one, the child is learning how to screw, um, and using a wrench as well as a screwdriver. And they do that, I believe it was like 5 or 6 times. And once they master that, she's able to move on to a different material, which requires more, um, like harder, like smaller knobs to work on. And then the third lesson plan I did, uh, the topic of the week was etiquette. So they are learning how to place the plate, the spoon, and a cup in the right position, and how to set a table. Lastly, I want to talk about my full experience. I had a very fun time learning new things and getting myself out of my comfort zone. Again, I've been working with traditional schools for a very long time, and being able to learn new ways to teach children, it's been great. I learned a lot. I've grown as a person, as a teacher, and as well as a mom. I have my child in Montessori, so it was a great experience to get all that information, apply it not only at work but as well as home. My biggest takeaway, I think, was learning the meaning behind every activity or every lesson, as they call it. It when I started, and the first day that I got there, they were just pouring water from one cup to another, just doing like little small things that I was like, what's the point in that? Like, I just didn't see any value in teaching them that. But once I got to learn more about Montessori and how repetitiveness and how each thing just builds on, it really opened my mind and made me just appreciate the every little aspect of what kids do, and knowing that each thing they do and are being exposed to has a meaning and a purpose behind it. And I just want to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.